Oh, been getting a lot of questions. Well, not so much questions, just comments, you know, about the whole strumming. It's so important. Let's get wired in for sound here. And hey, welcome. All right, so what's the goal here? Well, first things first, okay? I'm gonna need to monitor myself here because in order for me to be right-handed, let's see if I can get myself here on the live. Let's see. Yeah, there I am. Okay, perfect. So I can use this as a monitor so I can see if, make sure I'm in the there. So now I can see myself. See, there's no shortage of technical brainage here, okay? I'm going to tell you right now. We're always thinking. Hello, Vic. Yes, it was. Sorry. All right. What we're doing here, or what the goal is here, is just a little follow-up. I want you to understand that you don't have to be this master strummer. Okay, I don't want you to take my last video that I posted. You know, it's always about getting better, and remember, that's what the goal here is just for me to show you things that made me better and helped on my journey. I'm like, I don't want that to be misconstrued about you need, right? We don't want to get into that. You need to be able to do what I'm showing you. No, not at all, right? So I just want to make sure we're clear. There is absolutely nothing wrong with doing this. Right? I got a little bit of an up action going on. I'm making good consistent contact with the strings. Each chord is being strummed at the same output, I guess you could call it, right? You know, hi, Catherine. Everything is being, everything's in a tight, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, you could play all your songs, you can do all your stuff, you can create your own little sound based on a strum like that. Okay, so again, that's more than sufficient. And, you know, if that's where you're at comfortably right now, you've done well, right? So all I'm saying is, or all I'm pointing out is, just like everything else on the guitar, we got to keep pushing it. We got to keep getting bigger, stronger, faster, smarter. And as we do that ever so bit by bit, then we become more bit by bit polished, right? More polished and more polished. So again, it all comes down to what we play. So if we play only 3 chords, then obviously the more we play and the more we experiment, the more we get comfortable and confident, we can make those chords sound like anything. And that's the point. All I'm saying is, like I've always said from day one, is if you want to play 3 chords and 1,000 or 2 songs, or be, someone like we all do, have the binders of songs, and in the old days, and there's your binder of the songs, and you basically just play along at a party. That's cool. Then what I would do is, once you've put in place those skills, which is being able to play the chords that you need to play these songs and also to strum them. Once you've done that and got it all figured out, just work on your presentation, work on being an entertainer and a showman and a singer, and just polish what you do well right now. So for those of you that don't want to do that and you want to keep pushing on your journey, great. So then we have to do that. And that's what those videos are like. Please don't confuse me with some of those that make you feel that you have to do this or else you're just not a guitar player. No, not at all. So for the people that want to, there's only so far that a beginner's template will take you. And what I mean by that is, when we learn how to play this instrument, we basically have to learn and develop the motor skills between the left hand and the right hand. We know that going in. It's how we do it, okay? And there's just certain things that we have to follow. Ways we fret chords, the exact fingers. They even tell you the fingers. 1 should be on this note, 2 on this note, 4 on this note, whatever. And there's a reason for that. It's so important that you develop. It's boot camp, right? What do you do in boot camp? You get drilled and drilled and drilled until you get it in your sleep. That's should be your first 6 weeks to 8 weeks of guitar. Pure and simple. Learning how to fret, learning how to strum. The rest, it's an evolution of both of those things. Okay? Now, when we're told the pendulum has to go up and down from the elbow, well, they're absolutely right. Hi, Red, how are you? They're absolutely right. It's the best way early on to get a sense of timing and rhythm into your strum. Even though you have a non-existent strum at that point as a beginner, you're basically just doing this. And some of you have added that one, maybe like that. Something like that, right? And that's cool. So what you do is, right off the bat, as soon as you can, as soon as you don't have to worry about left-hand chording, try to build some rhythm and some tempo, keep count, little things you can do to just start thinking musical without having it be all dictated by the book and all that kind of stuff, right? So now you got yourself a good strum going. And you're going to take that strum all the way. Like, you could take it here. Something like this, right? I got a pretty good touch going on. Chord changes are good. Timing and rhythm, it seems to be in. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can make anything sound pretty good at that point, right? You got the touch, no inconsistencies. I mean, everything technically is by the book. And that's what you want. So now, by the book kind of comes to an end at some point. And it's a different point for all of you for the reasons I'm saying now. Some of you, as soon as you learn your 3 chords and how to strum them, basically, you're out of here. You're going to play campfire songs the rest of your days, once a month at the cottage. That's all you want. That's all you like. You're in. Okay? And we continue on from there. Those of you who, those of you who, those of you who. So the template will take you so far. And in a way, you have huge control over that, because some people can, make a... Now, I want you to notice how I'm strumming here. Elbow, pendulum, don't stop, no matter whether you play a note or you don't play, or a chord or you don't play. Right? Don't stop, don't stop, don't stop. I get it, no problem. I can make that sound pretty good. We can even go. Right? We could even put our pick down completely. See, it's tight now. I'm only doing the 4. Before I was doing 8 beats. So all of a sudden you notice a whole different output on the voicing, because I'm just using the soft flesh. Time flies, right? Mr. Sidewinder. How are you? Time flies. Hello from Canada. Hey, Turkey. All right. I used to think when I was a kid that's where all the turkeys came from, that we ate at Thanksgiving and stuff. All right, so where were we? Yeah, so we can go a long way with the beginner's strum template, and we will use it the rest of our lives. No ifs, ands, or buts. But now we want to accomplish certain things. Now, for those of you that have just started to play upstrokes in your strumming repertoire, I bet you've already noticed that you've taken a step back. The upstrokes can really mess you up. They mess up, your sense of timing in a sense, and they mess up your pick. Like it seems to, they go all over like this, right? The pick. So that's not always a good thing. So don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. That is going to happen for a long time. It will subside when you get more comfortable and confident, and you don't, you've got some free brain power. It's not, your brain doesn't have to worry about your left hand because you're fretting all the chords. You know what you're doing there. Your brain is kind of controlling the strum and figuring things out, but it's also now got freedom to do other things. How you're attacking those strings, what you're going to do next. Remember, we got a chord change to the D, and your brain is all over that. You just don't realize it, right? So when you have that comfort level, you can kind of do what you want. And if you, like I said, if you strum like this is the beginner's template, right? The pendulum from the elbow, even if I'm playing these chords, right? If I saw you sitting there playing guitar like that somewhere, I'd be like, doing a good job, good guitar player. Because what I'm looking for is what that pick does on those strings. How consistent, how loud, how not loud, how the tone is coming out. And it's all about here. This is the needle on the vinyl. Right? So that's comes with the whole strumming thing, like just getting your touch and everything. Now, we got to refine that too, right? And we got to build up some speed. And we want to be in a position that our strumming isn't so much templated or by the book, but just free form as we need it. And if there's a certain type of a song where we got to do a little, we got to be able to do that. Now that looks so easy, but it's not, especially to make it sound consistent and not at a volume that blows your ears out. You know, you got to have some control. Now, there's no way we can do that with the beginner's template. Because if you notice, that's why I asked you to notice how I was strumming earlier when I was kind of doing that whole chord progression. It was sounding pretty good, right? Well, I was doing the big exaggerated elbow thing the way they taught us as beginners, the way I learned how to strum, the way I see everybody showing people and teaching people how to strum, and it is the right thing to do. But it just gets to the point where you want to be more and more creative with that right hand, because that's your path, right? From here to the music, it's your right hand that's going to deliver that on the guitar. Your left hand is opening the doors, but it's your right hand that's barging through and leaving the impression, right? And creating a first impression. So that's where the beginner's thing, we got to sort of tweak it. Okay, so now it becomes less. Okay, so I want you to watch me do the same chord progression and try to put a little. Okay. Now, what was the point of that? Was to show you that you can now start coloring in those strums by using touch and feel, texture, and what we know as rhythm. This would be more like, in a punchy type, adding a punchy type rhythm. And that's all done through your strumming. Now, you cannot do that in the beginner's template. Why? Because remember, the beginner's template tells you to use your elbow as the hinge. And even though we can definitely shorten up our strum, it also tells you to make sure that this moves as one unit at the beginning. And I know don't get me wrong, there are probably teachers and there are probably courses that maybe don't advocate this, but for the most part, I believe they do. And they advise you to keep everything like a record needle arm, right? Back and forth. And you know what? That's great, as I said, but that's why it's a beginner's strum. So now you want to start adding a little bit of color, and you're going to end up doing that from your wrist. So all of a sudden, if you compare my early strum, when I told you to take notice, to my latest strums, like these, okay? So you can see now that we've taken the focus off the elbow and we put it on the wrist. And I can't explain this, but at some point you even end up kind of freezing your wrist, and it's just your fingers even. Like you can get that fine. But you see, when you heard things like okay, so that's just coming from the wrist. That's just, right? That's it. So, I don't know. I don't think nobody showed me that at the beginning. It was all rigid. And I just, again, not having anybody to refer to, not having like a mentor or taking formal lessons, you really don't know if you're doing things the right way and what is the right way. You just don't know. So it can be very confusing. But nobody, I used to see guys, you know what? I was so naive, I guess. I used to watch people, and I never fully got it that they strummed. I just used to say they strummed differently than me, right? Because I would have still been, I'd have been doing this. Right? And I used to watch guys strum, and I go like, there's not a lot of movement there. And then I just sort of figured, well, I guess he's he's so good, he's the lone, he can do what he wants, or she can do what she wants, or whatever. Never really thought of it. I just thought that I'm doing it right by the book, and that's the way it is. But people, the book ends, as I said earlier, and it's the Wild West, and you are now going to just use those book templates as just that, as just templates, as starter points. Knowing that you can just go right on back to good old-fashioned this strumming anytime you want. Right? Anytime you want. It's always there. But now you've unlocked. Remember those gates? The gates of journey hell? Those are the gates that you run into. And I used to tell you that in order to, you'll go so far in your journey, and then you'll have to get through one of these gates, and you'll have to know something, either some theory or an advanced technique, Well, this is one of those gates, right? So in order to get through to the next level, which you're already doing really well. Hey, I was doing little gigs in coffee shops, and I was still strumming like straight up and down for the most part, but I was using a lot of this. I was using a lot of fingers, and when you're amped up, you can get away with it. So I was doing a lot of this because that's personally what I like. But yeah, you can do it. So don't think this is something you need, right? This is just for those of you, like I said earlier, and that's what those kind of videos are about when I put them out, right? And I'm never far away if you need any questions. But yeah, I wasn't aware of any kind of like a wrist roll, or anything like that for years. So I got a late start on it, but look, it's great just to sit there, and this is part of my practice routine now, is making sure that I can make that pick sound the exact same whether I'm going up or I'm going down. I want to hear the same amount of string action. Which way? And the only way to do that is to be sure that you're playing, you're more on a swivel now. See? So when I go up, I'm spooning, scooping. And when I go down, I'm scooping this way, scraping the side of the ice cream container that way, and scooping it up this way. Right? Now at this point, it's pretty critical that you have a sense of rhythm, and you really've got to take hold of your touch, because if you don't have good control, you're going to lose your pick. Okay? That's the first thing. And things can sound real harsh, because as you try to speed up, you will unwittingly dig in more. So you have to be aware that if you want to speed up that strum, you need an even lighter touch, right? So you can see the first thing I did really was I got my fingers right out of the, like it was just a sort of, I just wanted to make sure that I had as few things to move as possible, so I can make those few things, in this case thumb and finger and using the wrist, and just roll that pick. So now I can start digging in when I want to create whatever kind of right? We got more control over that chord now. I'm squeezing more out of that chord. And it's all because of tight strumming. Tight strumming. Now we're starting to really work those strings. Now on the back end of that is the old palm muting, right? That's what lets the whole thing not get out of control. Again, this is just me, okay? This is just me explaining things the way I look at things. The palm mute thing is like the border, keeps everything in, right? So now I'm developing almost like or my goal is to develop almost like a pinpoint precision control over my pick on the strings. And again, look, if you've come this far, or you're approaching this level, man, you're doing something right. You're getting it. So this is just an extension of that. Now you're going to just keep, as you've probably already found out, this journey is about constantly refining the skills, the motor skills, making them stronger, faster, smarter, all that stuff, right? And that's what this journey is about. And it will never end. Unless, as I said, unless, you cut it and say, okay. So that's why it's even more important to not have to do this with the kitchen sink. You've got to learn, right? Keep it simple. Now when you get really good, now you can see how that applies. Can you do the same thing with your bar chords? Can you play... Nope. So... Right. Digging in too much there. Because, why? I mean, you could tell the difference between open chords and my bars, trying to really accentuate everything, is that all of a sudden, when I was doing it with the open chords, I didn't have to think about anything. It was just second nature. When I switched over to the bar chord little chord progression, all of a sudden my brain had to kind of babysit, had to use some energy to focus on the bar chord end of things. And it affects your overall. Now you're not dancing like no one's watching, This is a whole different ball game now. So this is all this stuff here. This is just all. This is what you need to do. How you do that is up to you, or what you play to do that. Now, some of you are only playing bar chords now. That's great, but the same concept applies. Is keep your bar chords at keep them in the neighborhood at the beginning. So what do I mean by that? Well, okay. You know how they tell you bar chords are great because you just got to learn one shape and you can play it all over the place? Well, it's true. But if I'm playing an F, okay, and then I want to play a C, so I got, remember, they're in the same C, F, G, for example. So we go F, C, G, to the C, to the F. All right? You see what I'm doing here? That's not how you would play. So now all of a sudden you find out, now you got to learn a second shape. Okay. So now there's bar chords along the fifth string, right? So now we got to learn a bar that's supposed to just bar to the fifth, right? So you know how you see people just do that all the time? Well, this finger really should stop here. Okay? When you get really good, you'd use the tip of that finger to mute out this string so that you only play those 5. Just like when you play an open G, you play all 6, but when you switch to that C, you can only play 5. Same thing with your bar chords. How many people actually do that? That's another story, okay? But that's by the book. So anyways, so now, instead of playing F, right, C, G, we play F, we switch shapes to a C, and then we go up and play the G, which is right here. So instead of this whole thing here, we actually have so that would be the correct way, really, of playing that chord progression using all bar chords. First of all, you're in the same tone area, like you're in the same octave area, the open position, where everything is going to sound the same. Whereas the other way, you play your F, you know, you can hear the depth, and then you come here to play your C, and you can hear your... Now that can work, it's just sometimes it doesn't. And so again, now you're up to 2 shapes. Now the same happens with the minors, you know, like, oh, all of a sudden I got to learn a minor. Oh, you mean there's 2 minor shapes I got to learn? And there's 2 major shapes I got to learn? You see what I'm saying? And it just all of a sudden you got to know everything. So like, but if you're doing the bar chord thing, then you really should use the same philosophy, is polish them. Play your bar chords in sets of 3. Really get that right hand going. Get that sense and feel and touch so that it should take away the strain of your hands. And it's all about tension. You know, at the end of that video I posted yesterday, it was tension is a big, you know, the big killer. So when your hands are all supple and pliable and loose and relaxed, you can move those fingers anywhere you want. No problem. Right? So, see, we got a couple of massages here. Yes. Oh, Anton from Denmark. How are you? All right. Just for a day. Hi from Turkey. Oh, yeah. I don't have a slide with me, but I can definitely point you in the right direction until I do a video about it, or we'll probably we'll do it on a live. Now I'm just trying to, oh, there we go. No, what's happening here? I'm just trying to read some of your messages. It's just that this, oh, there we go. Yeah, that's right. It does become part of you. Well, Red, let me just make sure I haven't missed. Dennis DeYoung from Styx is joining us. Thank you, Dennis. Oh, okay. Slide on acoustic. Yeah. All right. If you're talking about using it along with your chords, then generally, I'm sorry I don't have one here. I'd have to go upstairs. I have a room upstairs that's got all my gadgets and gadgets in it. Because I don't really play, but I love watching people do it. So hopefully you're still here. What finger you use is up to you. But if you want to play chords, open chords, or bar chords, then it would make sense to put it on one of your last two fingers. Whereas maybe some people, if you're very proficient with playing with your back fingers, like you play your G already, right? So you got your C and you play your F this way, you may get away with a small one on your front. The only problem is it's hard to get that. I find it's hard to get the front up, but most people would play it probably on this finger here, I would think, right? So basically, when I play it, I play in an open tuning. So I approach it like a laptop, lap steel. So like kind of more like this, right? And then, so if I'm in an open G, right, and I'm strumming, then there's my A, B, C kind of thing, right? That's how I would kind of do it. Or I would do it this way, so I would have it on this finger, and I would play like in the open tuning. There's all my chords right there, right? And then if I want, if I'm playing a G, for example, so if I'm in an open G, that would be a G, right? And then you would have the metal on the G, so you would kind of make your little twangs. That's one way of doing it. There's so many. But thank you for bringing that up, because I'm going to incorporate that in my next live. I'm going to make sure I've got a slide here, and I'm going to touch base about it. I know it's not a beginner's thing, but it is a cool thing. Even just to sit in open position or in your regular tuning, and just to have it on your finger, and just like, you can use anything really. I mean, you can use a bottle, you can use a coffee cup. Like, this is plastic, by the way. But you see, my point is that anything hard will kind of give you that thing. So I will do a little more about that. Where's my message? Yeah. The pick. Let's see what I say. What I heard. Okay. Pick or finger is up to you. I personally like to play fingerstyle. So when I pick up my guitar, the first thing I generally do something along the lines of this. I like to go through a kind of a gamut of chords. See how the guitar's sounding that day. Get the fingers loose. That's kind of, I like that. So if I'm sitting around listening to music, like I'll pluck out a bass, like I'll try to find the key, the note of the song, and I'll start doing a little kind of a cross between a bass line and like a lead line kind of thing, and try to figure it all out. But I do that only, I just do that with my fingers. As far as holding the pick, that's personal. That's you. Um, you know, you see people, maybe I tend to do this as well, where like I'm literally just like that, right? Then I saw an interview with the guy from Metallica, and he wraps this finger like that because of that same reason, is that the pick kept moving around. And this is a guy that's, you know, well, right? Now, I find this makes me play harder. So, of course, it would be a matter of adjustment. But, so that's with the 3 fingers. Now, if you want to go 4, that's up to you, but I don't think you need 3 and a thumb. That, to me, that just makes things too clumsy, but 2 for sure might be necessary. I also try, the picks that I use, you can't see it, but they're called cat's tongue. And they have like a rough surface on them, and I think it helps. Even if it's just psychological help, that it makes you feel that your pick isn't going to slip by the way it feels when you're holding it. Because remember, most of the slippage occurs when you play a lot of upstrokes. Because, you know, remember from day one, we've been playing downstrokes, and our thumb is dominant and strong, and it kind of covers and it pushes down. It's so much easier, right? But when we come up, now we're teetering on this tip of this finger, and we've lost stability, and it moves around. And I mean, mine still moves around. The only thing is, you don't notice when I stop or change, you know, or able to kind of redo it. You don't really notice it because maybe I didn't. I've even played where my pick has moved and I've just pushed it down like this. So now I'm playing with the corner of the pick, not the pick of the pick. I've done that many times. Don't worry about that. That's going to happen. All right. So, yeah, as far as the strumming, and by the way, for those of you, I got to do a little shameless self-promotion in a sense. For those of you just joining, don't know what the hell this is. I'm just a guy that taught myself to play guitar after 2 failed attempts, right? And I just threw the book out the window, and I said, this is how I'm going to... And within months, I went from like nothing to, you know, like I'm playing gigs and people are going, oh my God, like what have you been doing the last couple of months? It was crazy. So, you know, I have a channel, as you're well aware. It's a small channel. So if I could ask you, if you like what you see, you want to see more of it, please hit the subscribe button. It's a great way to tell YouTube I may be a somebody, even though I'm not. And it's a great way to say thanks. And I mean, I guess I'm working on some things that I think some of you might be interested in moving forward, and it's going to be exciting. But for now, that's the best way that you can help out. Just hit the subscribe button, watch some videos. Go and check out the strumming video if you haven't, and you're not familiar, you haven't seen that I posted one. There's a full-length video on strumming. It's about, I don't know, about 15, 16 minutes long. It's packed with good stuff, some tips or some techniques, and talking about, you know, the breakdown of what's involved in a good, what I call pro strum. And again, you know, if you're just strumming as a beginner with that template, the elbow, pendulum, you're doing nothing wrong, and you could do that the rest of your days. But there is another level or 2. And so the next step is, you know, there are some techniques and some things that will help you take that strum to another level. And even if you're a finger player, okay, I mean, you can still use, like when I play like with my side of my thumb like this, I mean, look, I'm playing from the wrist. Right? I'm still playing from the wrist. I'm not doing this. Doing this, playing with your thumb, I did it once. Back in the day. After a few too many adult beverages. Started doing the big exaggerated beginner's strum. Like this. Bunch of people sitting around drunk, but having a good time. Digging in when I wanted to. Rock star dig in. All that stuff, right? Mamma mia, the next morning, my thumb, the side of my thumb, was just blistered like this. So I learned my lesson, right? At home, when nobody's listening, this is me. More often than not. Right? But when you are playing online, because this whole thing, the internet sucks up sound, in my opinion. I can't prove it by numbers and all that, those tests, but just from being someone that plays live and plays on, live on air here through the Intergoogle, it's different. So, it's different. And you gotta adapt accordingly. So when I'm out, someone's basement, in a pub, coffee shop, wherever I'm playing, a jam at an airfield hangar that we have once in a while, I bring a pick and I use a pick. And my strumming style is what you see it right now. I'll alternate between a straight strum when I need to, and then when I need to on other songs. You pneumatic, big and bold, small town boy with a lust for the big time and the big time gold. So you see my strumming now, right? It's completely different. And that's the important part of playing the guitar, is being able to do everything, or both things, or both ways, okay? As far as the strum goes. Not everything on the guitar, my God, that'd take you a lifetime, but, right, to be able to have a nice, hearty, deep, robust, yet touch and feel strum, right? You gotta have that. But then, as you saw, need the ability, add a little texture. Dig in when you need it. Pick it out when you need it. Right? You want to be able to do a few things, a bunch of things. But if you don't, that's fine too. And again, I want you to understand that everything you just saw me do there is really just it's a result of the genesis of it being polishing my open chords in exactly the same way as, if you've noticed over the past many months or year, I've been focusing on what you can do here with your open chords, even just little walk-ups, walk-downs. You don't have to know how to play scales or any theory to be able to do that, okay? And what that does, that just gives you another tool to use in the open position to make your open chords sound a little different. Not necessarily better, but different, more unique, have a little pop to them, you know, whatever you want to call it. So all you just saw me do there was, all I did was play open chords, strum the open chords, and remember, I always tell you, the roots of these open chords, except for A, are always on the ring finger. So if I'm here, I know that's a root. If I'm playing a D, there's my root. I can do a little. There's my root of G. C, right? Whatever. You're limited to only your imagination. All right? So, again, I just wanted to follow up and make sure that it's good to know it's good to know how to play with a pick, because there are times where you just have to. You know, you're at a loud place and someone gives you guitar, says, "Hey man, play us a tune. What did you just write? What's a new song you just learned?" And someone does it to you and you got to play. And it's a loud environment, or you're outside. All right? Playing finger picking outside is like, you might as well just get ready to, pack up and leave town, because that's tough slugging. When you've got to play outside, finger pick style, a cappella, acoustic, that's tough to do. So it's always good to at least have some basic strumming and picking skills with a pick. Basic strumming, just so that you don't, you kind of have a little control, because everything sounds smooth when you use your thumb, right? Even when you use your nails like this, it's still pretty smooth sounding compared to if this gets out of control. You can really do some serious damage there, right? So, all right, so again, I encourage anybody that's new, if you haven't seen my latest, actually 3 videos, if you're a beginner, you're going to want to watch how to get playing songs fast. I think it was about 3 videos ago that I released it, so it'll be right there. And then there's one that didn't get as many views, that it says these, don't learn these things as a beginner. It's going to set you back. And that's a really good video to watch, because it's good guidance for you. Whether you take the advice is completely up to you. You're not going to go wrong either way, but I explain why to hold off learning certain techniques, okay? And then, of course, the one I just released is all about higher level strumming, taking your strumming to another level, right? And even if you're just a beginner, it's really good sometimes to know what you need to work towards. No one ever showed me this stuff about the wrist and all the, and the speed, and I'm like, wow. I played for years and there's no way I could have ever done this. I could have never done anything close to that, right? I just didn't have the speed and agility. And it was because I was fighting that whole, well, I'm not allowed to move my wrist. Like, I've got to stay, and it was drummed. Because, again, I didn't have someone to tap me on the shoulder and say, "Hey, Ray, this is how the pros do it, kind of thing. This is what's going to make you sound better. So, um, um, yeah, everybody seems to have their little thing with the, little remedies for the pick thing. That's great. I had good success with these things, especially for picking and playing scales. They're called Dava. I've never seen them before, and I don't even know. I think somebody gave me a pack of picks one time. It's like like a stocking stuffer thing. Like a friend would, it was someone we used to jam with, and they go, "Hey, Merry Christmas, guys," and threw me a pack of these little picks, and this was one of them. And I kind of liked it. It's very thick and rubbery, and it has a lot of holes, and it kind of feels like it stays, but it is a little on the harsh side. So you really got to, again, that forces you to, when you use a thicker, like getting up to the 1 millimeter pick, it really forces you to be conscious of your touch, because you will, like, you just be overbearing. So that's a good thing. So there's so many theories. Like I had a friend of mine when I was starting, I said, I would be using these paper thin white picks, like they were like 0.15 or something like that. And he'd go, Bud, you're only delaying the inevitable. Like, you might as well get it over with. And I just couldn't. Like, he was playing with probably like a 0.85 or even a 1. And I couldn't. But maybe he was right in that would force you right away to start thinking about touch and feel. And it wasn't something I thought about, because I was using these little white, they were almost like newspaper. And it was so easy to make my strumming seem not as harsh. So I don't know. But what I did was I started on the whites, and I think it goes to yellow. In this series, they're called brain cat's tongue. I think white is the thinnest, and then I believe it goes yellow, and there might be one other, and then there's green, purple, and after that I'm not sure. I think it's red, and there's a blue in there, and they get really thick. But that's what I use most of the time. But those rub big thick, and sometimes just trying a different pick is really cool, because I think it forces your brain to pay attention to what's in your fingers. Like, it's new, it's different. And it forces you to think about touch and feel stuff. So I know the ones you're talking about, the Tortex ones. All right. Wow. Wow. I don't know where all these, must be some sort of like a robot or something. But hmm. Anyways, good thing we were wrapping up. So, oh, that was okay. I get it. All right. Sorry, that was my fault. I was getting messages from a different feed, I guess. Okay. All right. So, again, what I want to reiterate is, yes, it's all about the strumming. Anybody that's followed me knows that. But you don't need these tips. It's a great video to watch. It gives you some great tips. You can see how I've used them here in the last half hour or so, but it's not something you need to do. If you're, again, doing the good old-fashioned strumming, that's good. Nothing wrong with that, right? just whatever it is you do, right? Just keep it simple and do it really, really well. For those of you, yeah, there's only about 2 or 3 that you've probably missed, Red. The last one is is going to put everything that I've just sort of touched base on here today in the live. It'll explain it in detail. And I mean, like anything, as my experience with this gets a little better, so do the quality of the output of things that you put out, like the videos and stuff. You're always working on that. I'm not a tech person. That's why the name, the Wired Idiot, because I was always that one person that something didn't work for, And, I would say 7 times out of 10, it was because I didn't set it up properly, or I put the frickin' thing in the wrong hole or whatever, right? And that's where the name came from. And I originally was going to show people how to do basic things just for fun, with music gear. And then I posted a couple of, I don't even know what it was, a couple of guitar videos, and it just sort of kind of went from there, right? But so again, and you beginners, look, just keep at it, because it's like anything, it takes time, right? It's something you've got to develop a touch and feel for. You've got to develop the motor skills necessary, before you can do anything here. So that's why I always say keep it simple. Learn a couple of basic open chords. Use those chords to start working on your motor skills, left hand and right hand, working together, forming the chords, strumming the chords, right? Using your ear to understand that that's what a C is supposed to sound like, and a D, and using your brain to start just really thinking about what you need to do and learn. And just keep at it a little bit every day, right? Just keep at it. Avoid distractions. Don't think of all those videos that you see with the fancy bar chords and power chords and triads and all these scales and everything. You'll get there. But the first year is not where most of us need to be worrying about that stuff. Trust me. You got a long trip ahead of you, but it's going to be a fun trip. And even though you may not sound good day 1 or 12 or 21, it starts to come together. And then when you start putting those 3 chords together and hear that song in your head, and yeah, it's a basic version and you're sort of rudimentary strumming and all that, but it's something, and it really, really does have an impact on you, and you will get incentivized by that, and you will continue on, and you'll just notice how things start sounding better and better. And look, when is up to you, or how fast is up to you. But if you listen to my overall message, okay, which is avoid putting all that valuable time into things that you do not need, will not need in the future, and will probably never need in your whole guitar lifetime. Don't waste time on it. Get right to the stuff that's going to get you playing right away. Then you build confidence, and and this is the best thing since sliced bread, and you're on top of yourself. Then you can go and start learning things, because you're psyched. You've got a guitar foundation. You've got that synergy between these hands, right? If you want to learn a bar chord, yeah, it's going to be weird for a day or 2, but you're going to get it. So you're not a beginner anymore, is my point. So when you're not a beginner, learning things is quite easy. It's like taking on another responsibility in your job every day. They come to you and go, well, you're the boxes person. Well, we'd like you to take over the circles department, because, the squares and the circles, they go together anyways, and you do the same thing. And so just, and you go, okay, and for just a brief bit, it takes you a second or 2, or, a day or 2, and you're in on it. It's the same with this. Once you've learned and you've got the hands going, you'll never be a beginner again. So you got all kinds of time to learn that stuff. It took me years to get to the point where I could, really confidently strum a song and make it sound pretty good, because I kept branching off trying to learn other silly things. Scales, bar chords, power chords, stuff that I really don't ever use or need. So, all right. See you later. Go check that stuff out. I appreciate all your comments. If you want to ask any questions, you'll notice I'm pretty good with comments, getting back to, definitely within the same day. It's starting to get a little bit more time consuming answering comments, but I try my best with help whenever possible. And you can always write me at my email address, which is on the channel description. Remember just to take it easy, keep it simple, and just play your guitar, because that's how you get better. All right? See you guys later. Oh, yeah, thanks, Red. Yeah, I'm learning bit by bit, but it's, yeah, I might, who knows what the future brings for sure. All right, see you, everybody.